Hello everyone, Namaste. I'm thrilled to be back with another episode of RightCast. I'm your host Icha Pandey. Today we have an esteemed guest, Mr. Ben Singer, Deputy Head of International from University of Greenwich. University of Greenwich is one of the prestigious universities in UK, recognized for its quality education, vibrant student culture and strong career prospects. Today we'll be delving into various aspects of UK, University of Greenwich and many more things. If you are the student planning to go to study in UK, this episode is for you. So without any delay, let's welcome Mr. Ben. Welcome to RightCast.
Thank you for having me. I'm very happy to be here.
Okay. So Ben, how are you feeling to be here in Nepal for the first time?
Yeah, really good. I've really loved my time. I've been here 5 days.
Okay.
Enjoyed the sites. Enjoyed coming to see agents and all the students as well. We've seen quite a few students. So
okay. I would like to initiate our conversation asking you about University of Greenwich itself. So my very first question is, if you had to describe University of Greenwich in one word, how would you describe it?
One word is probably not enough, but I have to say beautiful for the campus. If you've been to London and you've been to Greenwich, you would already understand the campus that we have is almost unique in London itself. We do have 3 campuses, but the main is in Greenwich. So this campus is right on top of the River Thames. We're literally next door and opposite to Canary Wharf, which is the main financial district in London.
Mm-hmm.
So we have really good industry links with Canary Wharf as well. But yeah, I have to say beautiful. The location is the number one thing to think about when you think about the University of Greenwich.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, the campus, unique in London with, it's not just a building in London, it's a whole community, big campus. Green space as well, which is quite rare in London. But we have a really great park in our campus as well.
Okay. International students look into different parameters while they are studying abroad, like affordability, location, job prospects. So could you please give us the overview about the University of Greenwich?
Sure. So, like I said, we do have 3 campuses in Greenwich. So we have 2 in London and 1 in Kent. The 2 in London are for specific courses. So if you're studying for business, design, computing, education, you'd be based at the Greenwich campus. For health, including nursing, that's at the Avery Hill campus. And then at Medway, which is in Kent, we have our engineering and science courses. So we have a variety of different campuses, different courses, depending on where what you're studying. You'll be based at one of the 3 campuses.
Mm-hmm.
We are a public university. We were established originally in 1870, so we've been doing education for a really long time, over 120, 30 years. So we're really proud of our history at the university. And I said it in the first question, but the location is really key. We are in central London, the main campus, but that doesn't mean it's not affordable. We are for London, an affordable university. We do try to support students with reasonable tuition fees, as well as accommodation options really close to the campus. So we do have accommodation within 10 minutes walk of our main campus buildings, which is, again, kind of unique in London. Lots of universities are kind of scattered in different streets all over the place, whereas we are really self-contained. Really feels like a community when you come to study at Greenwich. And yeah, we're really proud to have that sort of community, especially of international students. We really, over 40% of our students are international, which in the UK gives you a really good cultural mix when you're coming to study with us. So yeah, there's lots to think about when you're coming to study in the UK, but we do understand affordability can be a concern, but we do try and do different things to support students as best we can with price, easy accommodation options. And yeah, there is also, being in London, there is not a shortage of job opportunities as well. Some students might be concerned, cost of living is a little bit higher than obviously in Nepal. So there is a lot of part-time work that are available in London. And if you're coming to the UK, you can also work for 20 hours per week as well. We do support students to find employment when they come to join us. And that can be a really useful way for students to help, pay for some of their living expenses and enjoy their time while they're in London with us.
Okay. How many hours can students work while they're in UK?
So during term time, they can study for 20 hours in total. So that's when they're supposed to be studying. So kind of part-time basis. In the summer and outside of term time, you can work for 35 hours, which is full time. So there's a mix. Students can get quite flexible work as well, especially in London. There's lots of obviously restaurants, bars, things like that, which do offer quite flexible working. So you can change your hours depending on your classes. It's quite easy to find that sort of job where they're used to having mixed hours and making sure students can do both study and work.
Okay. Whenever I talk to international students, they're quite worried about the education system. Like the education system is quite different than Nepal. So they are quite scared about the adapting, that education. So what type of support is University of Greenwich providing to the international student in academic basis?
So when you come to study with us, it's really important you try to come on time. That's the first thing. If you do arrive on time, there's lots of different orientation events in the first few weeks. So that helps students to adapt not just to the academic side, but also just living in the UK. It is an adjustment. There's a different culture. There's different ways of just getting around. Even just getting from the airport to the university, like it's something people need to worry about. So we have a digital program for students to study when they start. This helps them with orientation. They can start that before they come from Nepal, so they can study it online. Helps them with all these little tips like, how to get a train, how to pay for things, what the social etiquette is, and, how to register with a doctor, things like that. So all of that helps students to, they're not arriving blind. They have more information that we give them to make sure that they're not, they're obviously having a big adjustment changing from Nepal to London. London is a huge city, so many different cultures. Hopefully that does help students to adapt a little bit because it's not just locals that are there. There's a lot of international students in London and just generally it's a very international city. So it can be, obviously it's difficult to adapt. It's a long way to go and you're away from your family, but all the support that we have in that sense really does help students to adapt to life. We do also have academic support during study. So there's, depending on the level, there's certain English language support. So if students are not used to how we do assessments, whether that's through coursework or presentations, there is some extracurricular or extra academic support to help students with assessment methods. It's not just about sitting and listening to a lecture, like anyone can do that. But in terms of actually how they complete assessments, then we do have different classes available to help students to adapt as well. So I think it's important to think about academic and day-to-day life.
Okay, now let's talk about the popular courses from this region. What do you think? What are the major courses that students have been taking from Nepal?
So probably our most popular course would be our MBAs. So we do offer lots of different flexible options there. We offer now MBAs for 1 year and 2 years. The 1 year course is just study and the 2 years course has a placement as well. So both, we have MBAs that are in global business, marketing management and finance. So students can specialize in different areas of an MBA if they want to. They can have any background, so they can transfer from different disciplines. It's not exclusive to business students, but we like to give students that option of if they want to do a placement as part of their studies, they can do that. Or if they just want the MBA title or the academics, they can just do that as well. We also offer those in both September and January entry, so flexible options as well, depending on when the student wants to start with us. And yeah, I think, we're really proud of our MBA courses. We've been running them for 10 plus years, probably one of the first universities to offer that, especially with the placement. Now, obviously, students that graduate will get the PSW, post-study work visa, but some students want to work more, so having that placement option on top of the post-study work means if they do the 2 year placement course, they have 4 years in the UK in total, and 1 year study and 3 years work. So it does give lots of different options for students.
Okay. So does University of Greenwich charge for the placement year, or what is it? How does it
So
work?
there's they effectively pay the fee in the first year.
Mhm.
So if they do the 1 year MBA, it's £20,000. If they do the 2 year, including the placement, it's £22,000. So it's a
Okay.
slightly higher fee with the placement,
Mhm.
but it's all paid in the first year. So once you've paid that first year, then you don't need to worry about the placement cost after that.
Okay. Suppose a student go in UK, okay, for the 1 year masters, then they apply from there only for extension, like for the placement program. How does that work? Do they have to come back to Nepal, or they can extend from UK itself?
Yeah, so they do have to come back to Nepal to do that. So I would recommend if you're interested in doing an MBA course, if you want to be flexible, then you apply for the course with the placement. This makes sure that you get a 2 year visa when you apply to the university. If you do want to change, it is possible, but you will have to come back to Nepal and make another visa application. So that can take, obviously, it costs money, it costs time. So if you're not sure, always recommend apply for the 2 year. It's easier to change to the 1 year. Ideally, obviously, make the decision before you come, but it's just easier to get the 2 year visa rather than switching during the course. You don't want to have to come back here, make another visa application, obviously pay for return flights. So yeah, that's always the best option is to apply for the 2 year to start with.
Mhm. Okay, for masters, it's only 1 year, but undergraduate, it's 3 years course.
Yeah.
International student definitely look for a scholarship. What
Mhm.
kind of a scholarship is University of Greenwich providing to the international students?
So at the moment, we've got our best ever scholarship actually available. So for undergraduate students, it's £8,000 in total. That's £4,000 discount from the first year,
Mm-hmm.
and then £2,000 discount from year 2 and 3.
Mm-hmm.
If a student wants to transfer, so they've done some 1 year in a Nepalese university, they can transfer to the UK as well. We do offer year 2 and 3 options for quite a lot of our courses. And we also offer a discount of £4,000 off first year and then £2,000 off any extra years as well. That is an automatic scholarship at the moment. It's the deadline for that is the 15th of March. All you have to do is pay your deposit and then you're eligible for that scholarship. So hopefully encourages more students to choose the University of Greenwich. We will have other scholarships after that date, but that is likely to be the highest value scholarship that we're going to offer this year. And also for postgraduate, also £4,000 discount with the same deadline. So yeah, we're really happy to be able to offer that at the moment. It's just key that students know 15th of March for that deadline. Make your deposit payment before then, and then you're automatically going to get the scholarship.
Okay. Now I would like to ask you a little bit about the English proficiency test. What I have felt is currently many students want to bypass the English proficiency test and go through MOI, medium instruction. So what's your take on this? Like, do students need to do the English proficiency test and go, or they can go through MOI? What's the better option for them?
I think in terms of, it depends on, so for the University of Greenwich, we don't accept MOI generally if they've done a degree. However, we do have a waiver if they have completed their +2. So if they have B+, then we can waive their IELTS. If they do want to do a higher level course, such as nursing, then they need grade A or B+, in +2. So we do have those waiver options. It is important that student is good at English. Obviously, they're coming to the UK. It's really important that they make sure that they're confident in speaking, writing, listening, etc. But just to make sure, that we do offer that waiver. We don't offer waivers for universities at the moment, so it's just the +2 waiver at the moment. Obviously, if the student doesn't have that, they can do IELTS or PTE or any other English test. So different options for the student, but hopefully the +2 waiver is a positive option for these students.
Okay, but suppose if the student has done the diploma in nursing, okay, what about them?
So we will, if they've done a diploma in nursing in terms of the academic level that they want to study at, if the diploma is equivalent to year 1 and 2 of a UK degree, we're going to offer a new course from January next year, January 2026, which will be a top-up course for nursing. If it's not equivalent to year 1 and 2, they can also do our adult nursing course. This course is really good, actually. It's only recently available for international students. It's got, so it's a 3-year program, but it's got placement in the course. So not a separate year, it's integrated into the teaching of the program. So different options depending on what the diploma is the student has. But yeah, the adult nursing is free registration. They do placements within the NHS, so the public sector healthcare in the UK. And yeah, we have lots of partnerships with local hospitals. We place the students in those hospitals, and then they do go into the hospital to do placement during their studies. It's not standalone. It's like 1 week you study, next week placement, next week back to study.
Okay.
So it's quite intense, but really rewarding for the students.
Okay. Now I would like to ask you about the career prospects in University of Greenwich. International students definitely look to secure the job after graduation. So what type of career services do you provide there?
Yeah, so obviously students are eligible for PSW, post-study work visa, after they complete studies. That's automatic as long as they pass the course. But we do offer different options for students to help them with their career prospects. So we have a employability office in the business school. That is available to any student. If they've got a placement or not, they can still go to this office, and they help them with writing CVs, give them tips on how to write job applications, where to look for jobs. Because obviously the UK does have a different job market to Nepal. The way you get a job, the way you do an interview, the way you search for a job is different. So we're keen to offer students that service to make sure they're well informed about how to really take advantage to find a job in the job market. There isn't a shortage of jobs, to be honest, in the UK. Where the UK actually has record vacancies. The government just said a few days ago. So it is still key that students make preparations to find a job, but you're not going to get one given to you, obviously. But we do have all these different things available. We do also offer a mentoring service, which some leaders in business in different companies put their name forward for students to be able to book appointments in with them, and they can then go to their office and learn about their career. So, for example, we had a student a couple of years ago that had a mentor at JP Morgan, so in Canary Wharf, which is just opposite the university. They would go in there once a week and have a career mentoring session with them, learn about how they got to the position they were in, and then they help the student to understand what they need to do better to get a job, what their career prospects are. And then eventually that student obviously they had a PSW, but they then got sponsored on a work visa after it. So it is possible to do that. Not a guarantee, obviously, that all employers are going to sponsor you on a work visa, but if a student is, really strong and they're working in a good company, then it's possible as well to get a work visa after you study.
Okay. Being deputy head of international, what do you think? What are the major challenges like students are facing, and how can they overcome it? Like in the coming days, being in a foreign country, it's quite difficult for them to get a job and everything. They need to develop different kind of skills. So, what's your suggestion for those students?
I think it can be difficult. It depends on. I always say if a student is determined, then the opportunities are there.
Yeah.
There's not.
So, how can they make most of their international student life?
I think that the key with us is the fact that they're in London.
Yeah.
So London is such a huge international city. There's so much to see, so much to do. Not just in terms of like tourism. Obviously, there's so much to see and do in that sense. But it's the world. It's such a business hub that it really can help students to find jobs by being in London, having that international experience as well. What we pride ourselves on with the university is when you come to study in the UK, you're getting an international experience. It's not just, you're studying with UK students, or if you're in Nepal, obviously you're just studying with Nepalese students usually. So when you come to the UK, you're getting a really different cultural mix. It can be daunting because obviously you're used to your own culture, but we do have, a real big mix of different students all over the world. We have 140 different nationalities of students that come to study with us. At postgraduate level, actually 80% of our students are international. So you're not going to be alone. When you're coming to London, you're coming to Greenwich, it's not like any other, you're not, it's different to studying in the pool, basically. You're really getting an international experience when you come to study with us.
Okay, as we wrap up, I would like to ask you last question.
Yeah.
Why should students choose UK? And any one piece of advice to the students who are going in coming intake?
I guess choosing the UK, especially the work visa is the easy selling point for a lot of students, that they're basically guaranteed this 2-year work visa after they complete their studies, as long as they pass their program, of course. But we also have an awful lot of rich culture in the UK that students really want to take advantage of. When you're coming overseas, you really want to have a great experience, obviously experience something different to what you're experiencing at home. And the UK is such a long history of different, even just the campus itself is built in the 1500s, so it's been around for such a long time. It's a beautiful location. But London, there's so much to see and do. And I guess the tip I would give is preparation. Like, don't just expect to just turn up, apply, get in. There's so many different steps that students need to take care of. Really making sure, especially that their English is a real focus for them before they come. So trying to, get back into the swing of. So you might have done high school a long time ago, spoken in English there. You haven't spoken too much English since then. Making sure that you're re-familiarizing yourself with English. That's the key to making sure you've got a successful degree when you come to study at the university. If you just think, I'm just going to turn up and it'll be fine, then you're going to have less success than if you make those preparations. Making sure, to take full advantage of your time when you're here. It's not going to be, you're not in the UK forever. It's an experience that you really want to make the most of. So, preparation is definitely key.
Thank you so much, Ben. It was really great talking to you and know about the University of Greenwich. Thank you.
Great, thank you.